Okay, I am here to show you how I fixed the backup camera from not displaying on the main display. You get the error saying contact dealership. I've tried the different things out there like replacing the backup camera, and it may work for one or two times, and all of a sudden you'll get the same kind of issues where it says it cannot talk to the camera and that you have to go to the dealership. And so I've been having this issue for quite a long time now. It really stinks when you have a backup camera that doesn't want to work. And you pay a lot of money for your vehicle, and I know this is pretty prevalent across the different kind of Ford backup camera systems. And so today I'm going to show you how I fixed it. So the issue has to do with the ground cable. It has nothing to do with the cameras. These cameras are pretty simplistic. They don't require a whole lot. And so I know on the F-150s, some people have applied fixes to the ground cables, and I also believe it's a ground cable because once in a while it works, sometimes it doesn't. Depends on if the wind blows one way. So let's just get straight to how I figured this out. So so your backup camera in the back rear of the tailgate. Okay, so in the back of this you have the camera, and then you have your lamps, and of course that means there's going to be two negative cables coming through the tailgate into the car. So you have to figure out, well, which one is it that you tap. So what I did was I pulled down this grommet down here, this little wire protector. I'll pull this out. Let's work this out a little bit. There we go. I'll get this back in later. Just give me a second here. Okay. There we go. And so with that, when you open up this, you'll see these wires all hanging here, okay? And there are two black cables with gray stripes on them, okay? And so you can tell the difference between the two. One's for the camera, one's for the lights. The ones for the lamps, for the license plate lamps, they're the biggest one. And then you have a real tiny one. So there's a tiny cable, tiny black and gray, and there's a little bit larger black and gray. The smallest one, I think it's a 22 gauge. It's really, really tiny. You can see it right there on the left hand side of this black one that I'm actually touching. That's the actual backup one. So the smallest black cable with gray stripe is the backup ground cable. Okay, so what I did was I used from Pep Boys a 18 to 22 gauge cable splicer, and then I just added my own little ground cable here. I think this is 18 gauge, but it could be 22 as well. And so all I immediately did was tap into the current ground so that I don't mess anything up and mess with any other cables. And I just added a really twirl short. And then right here on the back of this, on the back of the tailgate, this is just a plastic covering over an actual nut. There's a really great ground right here. So if I took this off, you'll see that there's a nice little bare ground right in there. So all I immediately did was use this cable splicer, tapped into the smallest black cable with gray stripe, which is the backup camera ground, added my own little extra ground loop here in the splicer, put on a little round connector bit, slid it over the post, and then I put the nut back on with its little plastic protector here on the nut, and then I was able to immediately, my camera would work 100% of the time. So you might be thinking, well, could this one eventually break down? Well, what's great is that this grounding nut is in the tailgate. So as I move the tailgate, everything moves with it, right? So there is going to be no wear and tear on the breakdown of this particular ground. I think maybe so there's something with wear and tear, maybe with the actual ground cable is tiny. I recommend just getting a nice little cable splicer. You could get fancy and solder and do all kinds of crazy stuff if you want, and make a dedicated ground only. But I didn't want to. I don't know if it will interfere with how the system detects on whether or not there's grounds working. So I just simply spliced into the rear. As you can see, I'll back up here just so you can get it on the rear camera ground cable that comes out of the tailgate. Just splice right into that. Add on my tiny little ground with a loop and bolted it right to the tailgate, which has a really clean ground right there. Okay, and then all I gotta do is simply put this back up. There's actually quite a bit of space in here. There's like maybe a good inch of space in there, so it's easy to fit back up this little spliced cable. So Good luck to you guys, and I hope this fixes your backup. I've had this going on for a week now, and it's worked 100% of the time. So every single time I put the car in reverse, it works perfect every single time. I also think the picture looks a little bit clearer. I don't know if that's possible or not, but it does. And before it used to it was extremely random. Usually most of the time it would never work, and now with this fix, it works 100% of the time. Good luck. Thank you.